This is where we're going to talk about what goes wrong. There's a variety of things can go wrong preparing for, doing or following up an interview, but I'm going to start off today talking about the big 3 things that go wrong in an interview. Now, the first one is you are too nervous. The second one is you can't articulate yourself properly. And the third one is that you can't match what they want with what you've got. So let's talk through these 3, because these are the big 3 stuff-ups. Number 1, you're too nervous. This is usually because of 2 reasons. The first reason is you're flying blind and you're winging it because you haven't done your research, you haven't done your homework. You're just going to get in there and talk off the cuff, and then when you get there you go, oh my God, I'm out of my depth. You get really nervous and you stuff up the interview. The second is that basically you are really nervous, and you should actually say to the people, you should tell them, oh, I don't really do interviews, I'm not used to this, I'm actually feeling quite nervous today. And they'll say, it's okay, it's okay. They'll make an allowance for you and they'll put you at ease to a certain extent. Now, let's talk about the flying blind or winging it people. Just imagine you've got an A grade candidate and a B grade candidate, and I've seen this happen a lot of times. The A grade candidate fits the bill, right? They turn up, they're not nervous. The B grade candidate does all of their research, all of their homework, and they're fully prepared. 9 times out of 10, the researched, prepared, confident candidate blows the A grade candidate out of the water. And believe me, when you know your stuff, when you've done your research and you know your material, you won't be nervous. So that changes one of the big stuff up there. Now, if you are nervous, just remember, that's a pretty healthy, normal human thing. Apart from recruiters like me who spend my life and have spent my life interviewing people, hardly anyone gets to actually put themselves in this pressure situation where they're being interviewed and where there's a lot on the line. So, to prepare for this, you've got to get used to being in that environment. Now that means you have to find someone to practice with. It could be a friend, it could be a neighbour, it could be a work colleague, just so that you get used to it. Now, chillax, chill and relax. It's only a job interview. If you stuff it up, they're not going to take you out the back and beat the crap out of you, okay? So don't wind yourself up like that. Remember, have fun with it. Let them see the person that they are going to hire and not just the skill set, because they don't hire a resume, they hire a person who has a resume. If you want to find out just how you look like when you are doing an interview, video yourself. Get your iPhone, get your camera and do a video and have someone video you while you do it. And you know what? That's when you're going to pick up on, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing that. So this is some of the common things that I look for. Nose pickers, don't pick your nose. Ear pullers, right? As soon as you start pulling your ear, it says to me that you're nervous and you're making this up. Collar tuggers, it means I don't want to answer this question, right? I'm under pressure, I'm trying to let the steam out. I don't want that. The eyedroppers, you're talking to someone and they suddenly look down like this. You're talking to someone and they suddenly look up like this. Neuro-linguistic programming, it's real simple. If I'm looking down, I'm thinking about the past. If I'm looking up, right, I'm thinking about the future. What would you like for dinner? Oh, I'm not really sure, right? Who made that terrible mess in the back garden? I'm not really sure. You can tell, people can tell. So watch where your eye moves. The toe tappers. How annoying is that when you're doing an interview? You're nervous, you're tapping your toe. Don't do it. The finger drummers. That's even worse. Women, don't fiddle with your jewellery, your makeup, your earrings, all that kind of stuff. 2 other things, you get the lip lickers or the water sippers. They're constantly sipping their water. It's just a sign of being nervous. When you video yourself, watch yourself. You'll be horrified. So that's the first one. People don't do well in an interview because they get nervous and they don't act like themselves. You can overcome that. The second one we have to talk about is that you can't articulate yourself. Once again, chillax, chill out, relax, do a bit of practice with a friend. You need to get used to being put on the spot where you have to articulate yourself there and then, ready to go. To do this, the best way to do it and the easiest way to do it is to try and find common ground with the interviewer. Common ground is important because it's like, well, I did this, do you do that? Oh, okay, well, that's common ground. You know, I've got this sort of background. Who else in the company has this sort of background? What's the background of your most successful person in the business? Oh, I've got a similar sort of background to that. So that's kind of you articulating yourself, well, it is you articulating yourself and finding common ground. If you are having problems with this, what you can do is have prepared information. Now, a lot of candidates do this to complement their resume. You don't want to send a 30-page document as a resume, but when you turn up at the interview, you can have a list of your qualifications. You can have a list of the projects they've worked on. You can show people, you know, the budgets or some graphs or something so that you've actually got something to present which will help you articulate yourself. And that's problem number 2. The third problem that we have is that you can't match what they want to what you've got. And this is different to articulating yourself, because you might be able to articulate yourself beautifully, but if you can't actually match what it is that they want to what you're articulating about, you're going to fail. You're not going to get the job. So, to do this, the first thing you need is a position description, right? Which they should give you prior to the interview. If they don't, ask for it. Because if the third problem is that you can't match what they want to what you've got, you've got to know what they want. And what they want is in the position description. When they give it to you, you can actually go through and say, right, they want this, I've got this. They want this, I've got this. You can match this up beautifully. Once you do that, it will massively increase your confidence. You'll know where you're coming from. You'll know what your strong points are. If they don't give you a position description, and I've got to tell you, a lot of them won't, and it's not because they don't want to, it's because they don't have them. Okay? Especially small businesses. To actually sit down and write some sort of generic position description takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, and to update it. The big businesses will have them, but the small businesses may not. What do you do in that situation? Quite simply, go off the advertisement that you applied for. Get the ad, go through it sentence by sentence, see what they're asking for, match it up. So you've got to list off what they want and then match it up with what you have done. If you do this, you'll very quickly realise if the role is for you, if you can do it. Now, if you can't do everything that they're looking for in the position description and you've only got about 66% of it, don't throw your dummy away or drop your head and think, oh, I can't do this job. Look for a lesser role. If this is a company you want to work for, that you're enthusiastic about joining, that can give you the career path that you want, turn around and say, well, if this role isn't for me, what other opportunities would you have in the business? So those are the big 3 things that go wrong. Number 1, people are too nervous and they don't act like themselves. Number 2, they can't articulate themselves. And number 3, they can't match what the client wants to what you've actually got. So do some practice, do some research, get prepared to be put on the spot with questions, get a position description and go through it. And then when you go in there, you'll be confident. You'll be bringing your A game and you'll do your best job.